Good evening, everybody. This will be my entry for both Saturday, April 28th, as well as Sunday, April 29th. And that might happen on some of the weekends because sometimes I have stuff to do, which I'm really excited about because it's been a long time since I could say that I was busy all weekend since I moved up here. April 28th and 29th, 2018. And I guess what we should talk about today is trying something new, kind of the theme for me this weekend, so it seems kind of appropriate. I'm really lucky that I've met a couple of really awesome ladies since I've got up here, and we went to a comedy club in Washington, D.C. on Saturday night and had a great dinner at this little founding farmers place in DC. Shout out. Delicious cocktails. The drinks were more expensive than the entrees, but as a formal cocktail maker myself, I appreciated them. It's been hard relocating and to rebuild that circle and to find people that not only have common interests but that also you feel like you want to see or hang out with again. So if they happen to be watching, shout out to my two ladies. Thank you. I had an amazing time. And I had never been to a comedy club before, so that was something really neat and fun. And then today I helped my brother-in-law put up a fence. Look, oh, it's almost a muscle. And we've done things the past couple months or so, like I've chopped down a tree with both a chainsaw and split wood with an axe, just like a lumberjack. Torn out a deck, hauled wood, hauled stone. Today we built a fence. So I just find myself doing a lot of things and trying a lot of new things. My favorite thing that I do, that I wanted to do for over a decade in Florida, but it was not quite available, is rock climbing. I now climb rocks and I go to a rock gym and it's amazing. And it's kind of like my release. It's my safe place. It's my playground. It's where I go to feel better and to feel accomplished. And I really, really enjoy it. So how do we tie all this back into something that you might be going through if you are grieving a loss or dealing with something difficult or painful or someone that might be passing or in a hospice position? Well, it really comes down to the first statement. I challenge you to try something new. And please don't misinterpret it. I understand more than anything that when you're in that place, the last thing you feel like you can do is change your routine or try something new or pick up a hobby or a sport or meet new people. Of course not. But there are some things that you can do. And while I've moved up here, trust when I say that there's a lot of grief. I mean, it's hard. It's really, really hard leaving everybody that you love and everybody that you know and your safety net and your circle and your job and your schedule and the streets. You don't have to use Waze everywhere you go. And those little memories when you drive down McGregor or you pass that apartment complex on Colonial and that person used to live there, or your favorite sandwich from Wawa. I mean, these are the little things that you might take for granted. So how do I deal with that? How do I deal with the grief and the sadness? Because it comes more often than you might think, even though I'm in an amazing position. So you might be able to sit there and say, well, Jill, I have a great marriage, or, I just gave birth, or I got a promotion, and I'm fine. But it's okay if you feel like you're not. It's okay if you're in a really great place, but you feel like there's something missing or there's something that you do miss. There's no parameters put on what makes us hurt. And nobody should tell you that there is. And if they are, they just don't understand, or they're not really understanding it within themselves, because life isn't perfect. And I'm personally glad it isn't, because if it was, I would not be who I am today. And I wouldn't have learned everything that I've learned. But trying new things, getting yourself out there. So if you're dealing with something really hard and heavy, and you're feeling yourself locked in that box or locked in that routine of going to work and feeding the kids and making dinner and cleaning the house and doing laundry and going to the gym, or talking to the same people about the same grief because they've had it, or their family and they're going through it, or supporting your friend because they're having a hard breakup or a fight with their partner, or whatever it is. These are the patterns and the boxes that we trap ourselves in sometimes. And it's far too easy to do that. And I think we've all done it, especially me. So I guess the challenge is to find something that breaks you out of that cycle. And there are so many ways that you can do it. If you're going through a hard time, and you usually grieve by yourself and sitting in a room and crying, try what I'm doing. I know it sounds crazy. I know it sounds scary. And I'm not saying post it on the internet. But I've recommended to so many people to just try videotaping yourself as a journal. Of course, journaling itself, write it down. You don't have to keep it. You can throw it away. You can tear it up. You can burn it. You can keep it in a book. You can erase the video right after you make it. But as somebody who did this for 30 days during the hardest part of her grief after losing her mom, please trust me when I say there is some amazing therapeutic catharsis to this process. And because I've kept them and they're online, to be able to go back and see where I was in the growth. So that's one. Try documenting what you're going through. No matter how big or small you think it is. If it's a challenge, document it. Write it down. Write a word, write a sentence, write a paragraph, keep a journal, videotape yourself, use your phone, whatever you need to do. It's a very, very eye-opening process to go through, and something that you can look back on later. Number two, if you usually sit in your room and listen to sad music, go for a walk and listen to sad music. I will never tell anybody not to use music to feel their emotions or get through it, especially not to necessarily pep it up. I love listening to those songs that just get you right here. And sometimes you need them to. Sometimes I've used them definitely to get those feelings out. But maybe try doing it in a different setting. If you usually listen to it and cry in your car, go sit by the river. Sit in your favorite rocking chair in your backyard. Change the area, and you might find how different your thoughts can become, or the things you might tap into that you really, maybe your subconscious wants you to think about. If you usually listen to sad music, always try it. It's not always easy because the sad songs are so good. But try listening to a happy song. Ask a friend what they suggest. Throw up on your own personal Facebook, hey, looking for some new music. Anybody have any ideas? They don't have to know what it's about. They don't have to know why. But you might be surprised at what you find. I tapped into country music. Somebody several years ago got me into it, and I love it. Sorry for all my friends out there who are just totally against it. I love country music, and it really does help, and it really speaks to me in a lot of ways, and a lot of different levels, depending on if I'm happy or sad or reminiscing. So try a different style of music. If you usually do hip hop and rap, try listening to soul or classical. If you usually listen to pop music and country, try listening to some Shinedown or some Slipknot or heavy metal. It might help you get out some of that anger. So that's another way we can mix it up. Change your music routine. Try new things like I am, if you have the energy, or if you're not completely bogged down, but try a new sport. Get into a new eating regimen. Get into a new hobby. If you've always wanted to learn to knit, start learning how to knit. Watch a new show. I get stuck on Law & Order SVU. Hello, all day, every day. Dick Wolf, thank you. You're an amazing man. So branch out. I always watch comedies. Comedy sitcoms is kind of my thing, other than SVU. So maybe I should try to branch out into some thrillers or some intense dramas. Maybe I'll find something I can relate to. Maybe a character will say something that resonates. Maybe it'll help distract my mind because I have to pay more attention to that storyline. Or like I said, I've ripped out a deck. I've built a fence. Try different things that really push yourself. When we try new things, when we challenge ourselves to expand who we are and to break out of the preconceived preconceived notion of who we think we are and what we think we're capable of, it can have some amazing healing qualities. And if you're going through something hard, if you're going through a loss right now, if you're going through grief right now, I am not by any means telling you to climb mountains. I am not telling you to cross rivers. But I'm saying maybe you can skip a different stone instead of just throwing the rock right into the river. You know, maybe you can take a little jump instead of dragging your feet. And I don't say this as though I expect that everybody can, because again, a few months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, don't ask me to do any of those things. I was devastated. I couldn't change anything. But as I'm trying to move forward and deal with all the different levels of grief and things that are still in my life, despite how it might sometimes seem like I have it together, I don't. I still face a lot. And these trying new things and expanding who I am and growing and seeing that I am more than what I thought I am, more than what I built myself to be, can be very enlightening, and it can be very eye-opening, and it can be very healthy. It's amazing to see what we're capable of. If you're in school, take that class you didn't think you wanted to take. All right, well, Jill, I can only take certain classes. All right, well, pick a professor that maybe you were afraid of taking before. If you're writing a review, don't pick the easy poem. Pick the story that challenged you the most. There's so many ways that we can challenge ourselves to be something different than what we are. And again, I say that when it comes to grief because we can so get locked into what we think we're supposed to be and how we think we're supposed to feel and how the world and how society and how others view us and how we are supposed to grieve in that moment. And I'm here to tell you that there are a million different ways to grieve. And some of them are going to hurt more than others, but don't be afraid of the pain. It's hard, but you have support systems. Even if this is just one of them, I said before, any of you going through it, feel free to comment, to question, private message me. If you're a personal friend, text me, call me. I'm here. I'm listening. I'm willing to listen. If there's something that you want to ask that you want covered on any of these installments, please let me know. I'm here to help address anything. And I might not even have the answer, but that doesn't mean we can't talk about it and have a discussion. So branching out, try the new food, try the new music, try driving with no destination just because you can. Try playing a new game with your kids. Try making your partner play with your kids when you usually would do it, or cook dinner and take time for yourself. But branching out, changing something about your everyday pattern, about your everyday expectation, you would be amazed at how that can change the way that you can approach grief and a loss you're going through or sadness. And this is true for past griefs. I mean, so often we don't get over anything. We just keep moving on and it fades away in the background. But I'm telling you, if we don't face it, if we don't look at it, if we don't try to heal from it, it doesn't go away and it will come up in the most random and unexpected situations. And sometimes it can really cripple us in a time in life when maybe we still aren't ready for it. So we can prepare ourselves for that a little more. I know it might sound abstract. I'm hoping what I'm saying is making sense because it really is helpful. Challenge yourself. You can do anything that you put your mind to. Somebody had chatted with me after one of my posts, and I had a response that it really resonated with me. And it's funny, that's why when you all interact with me like this, the things that I think about and the things that come out that I hadn't realized I had inside me, or the insights, or the questions. And we were talking about life and being where you want to be or where you thought you would be or something like that. And one of my responses to them was, when life has you pushed up against the edge, sometimes you have to be brave enough to just jump. And it's not a question whether or not you're going to fly. It's the knowledge that the fall isn't going to break you. This isn't going to break you. Whoever you are, whatever you're going through, whatever is hard for you, a fight, a death, a change, looking at yourself and not being who you thought you are, this will not break you. Don't be afraid to jump. Don't be afraid to try to fly. We oftentimes don't fly. We just realize that we can survive the fall. Okay? Okay. So, what are some times that you've had to change something and it's helped you? What are changes that you've made in your life? Or what is something that you're going to try now because of this post? Comment right there. Send a private message and I can mention it, or I can comment if you don't want your name attached to it. Make it funny, make it silly. Tag a song that you love so I can listen to the song that you might use to make yourself feel good or when you're sad. And then I can get a little more understanding and you might change my life. You might change the way I'm feeling. So, new things. Try new things. Get out there. Challenge yourself, even in the little ways, one day at a time, and you might be really surprised at the domino effect, the ripple effect that it has on your life and even the lives of others. So comment, question, share, message me, text me, call me, PM me, whatever you need to do. I would love some conversation. I would love questions because, again, this helps me too. I mean, I'm not completely selfless here. This is obviously something that's helping me immensely. So once again, I thank all of you who are watching. Thank you to anybody who feels like they want to interact or get a hold of me. Sorry for the one message for two, but it was just that kind of a weekend, and I was happy for it. So I love all of you. I hope you have a great Monday and a great week, and I will talk to you all tomorrow. Mwah. Happy Sunday night.